Christine talks to Gator Robotics about the November NHRL event on this episode of Outside of the Box.
I think it's going to be a lot of good bots, so it's going to be a tough one for sure. But we're doing a lot of stuff like John said with the test box and optimization, and we'll have the advantages of having a robot that's competed already. So I think we'll still stand a good chance.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Outside of the Box. And my background may give my guest away a little bit today, because we're talking November NHRL, and Gator Robotics is bringing quite a few robots to that event across all weight classes, which is super exciting. So I have Brooks and John here to talk about the November event and kind of preview it. So welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks for having us. It's super cool to be interviewed and to talk about what we're bringing. I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I think that y'all have some pretty cool robots, including, of course, Termigator. I think, a lot of people are very familiar with that one, but you have, like I mentioned, across all of the weight classes. I guess my first question is, I know a lot of teams, especially the college teams, do that, but how much of a challenge is it to essentially have to get multiple robots ready to bring to NHRL?
It definitely is a challenge, but usually it's mostly like one or two people per robot. So you'll have the 30-pound. John and I are like the major players on that, and we'll solely focus on it. Maybe other colleges do it differently, where it's like a group of people doing maybe different robots. I'm not sure how other teams work. But with ours specifically, it's like solely focused like one person or two person per robot, and that really helps the team kind of have a straight line of sight on, okay, what do I need to do specifically for this bot, and have just better ownership of that design as it gets to NHRO. So being like that just makes it easier. So like each person kind of knows the process for each bot.
Yeah, for sure. Now, how are you all feeling going into this event? Because I can't recall off the top of my head the last time that you were at NHRL, but I mean, obviously there was a gap between the summer and now October, November. So, and I know that you didn't go to October. So, how are you feeling? Do you feel prepared? What have you been working on since that time?
I guess we've been doing not a ton of testing yet, but I spent like the last, I think, 2 weeks welding. We made a 30-pound test box. It's all like half-inch plate steel and then really thick glass ports so we can look in it. And so like the goal is we want to finish that by the end of the weekend, and then we're going to be able to test our 30s and 12s in that arena, like to full capacity. Like we're not going to be able, we can actually test robots here with weapons instead of just like driving them around with the weapon locks in.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
You were talking about that before we started recording, Brooks. And I mean, I would think that has to be a game changer. I mean, for any team that has access to a test box, it makes it so much easier to know that you're prepared going into it.
Yeah, totally. The first time Termigator did an actual full spin up was at its first event, which is wild. And in Florida, they used to have the Maker Faire box for Robot Ruckus. That's gone now. So this I think could also be a huge thing for Florida teams as well. Like maybe Blue Marlin could have something to test with. Maybe Florida Poly could have something as well. So I think it'll definitely help us, and maybe just the Florida community too.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, to me, I always think anything that can make combat robotics better as a whole is great. And it's nice that, you have thoughts about being willing to share that. Have you had a chance, I'm sure you have, but to look at the field for this event? Because I know something that I've talked about some other people with is looking at robots that have already qualified. And obviously if there are ones that have qualified, then that can shift your chances with certain weight classes in that respect. But also I think everyone who goes would love to win the whole thing. What do you feel about your chances and ability to do that, and about the field as a whole?
Yeah, this is a very unique field, I think, for an NHRL event. I made a spreadsheet. It looks like over half the robots are new, in the 30-pound weight class. But like they're all built by very well-known builders. So for instance, Jeff Waters is bringing a new robot. Derek slash Real New Deal is bringing a bot. And so you have all these new bots, and they're built by pretty good builders. So we'll see how they turn out. And there are a lot of other names too, like Brian with Barbie 30-pound. That's going to be a tough one for sure. Um, and then just the ones coming back. What was it? It's those the 30-pound undercutter. I forget. It's Kablooey Tango's going. So they're really good. The flamethrower as well. So there's a huge. The field is a huge variety, and like I think it's gonna be a lot of good bots. So it's gonna be a tough one for sure. But like we're doing a lot of stuff like John said with the test box and optimization, and we'll have the advantages of having a robot that's competed already. So I think we'll still stand a good chance.
Yeah, for sure. And if like either of you or both of you can kind of deep dive into just a little bit on each of the robots that are coming with your team, for those that may not be as familiar with them, if you kind of want to talk just a little bit about like what the robots are, have they been to NHRL before, that sort of thing.
I know for when we have Termigator, which I'm sure is very easily Googleable. Um, and then I have my 12-pound Steggy competing as well, which it's a modular 12-pound robot. It hasn't fought since last December, but we'll see. And then I believe every other robot we're bringing is like brand new for this Norwalk. So we have our new president is bringing his new 12-pound. Our treasurer is bringing a 3-pound, or actually both of our, like all of our leadership is bringing robots now. So there's should be a lot more. They're all new, so they might have issues, but they're very well designed from how we've gone through our process with them.
I guess specifically for deep dive on them, I don't want to go too far into it. If I would probably want to ask our builders building them first to determine how much I want to reveal. Um, but like John said, they are the first 3 pounds from these new members, but like old leadership of the team is trying to help them out a lot to make sure they look pretty good. I know Ned, our new president's 12 pound is looking pretty good. That's the 4-wheel drive vertical spinner. And I think they will do pretty well for a first event, but like I said, I don't want to go too deep into detail without asking them first about it.
Oh, I definitely understand the secrecy, especially with the new bots. There's a lot of people that kind of like to keep it close to the vest and not reveal too many things so that the competitors can kind of plan around that. But I'll be excited to see it, when the event happens. Since I haven't had you all on before, talk a little bit about the Gator Robotics Club as a whole, and just like how that has developed and everything, because obviously a lot of the colleges have teams and some have existed for a long time, some are newer, some like went away and then came back. So I'm kind of curious to hear about the story of y'all's club down there.
Yeah, totally. So the club has existed, I think, since like 2019, 2020, but it really only started getting like to the like a very structured and well managed level around 2022. Our previous president, Jack Sapotnik, the driver of Hooligan, kind of took over the team. And he was previously like a very competitive Vex robotics person. And so like he knew how to run a robotics team really well. And he also had a lot of connections to like other people. For instance, like he knew people going to WPI and can ask about their team structure. So um, basically, he started the team, restarted the team, and then I joined on as well. So what happened was we started a plastic ant competition. I think kind of mirroring some other college teams. It's a really great idea. If people are wondering. Basically, what this does is new members will be able to very quickly iterate a bot of their own design, a plastic ant, very cheaply too. So the university can pay for it. Very low barrier to entry. Very easy to get into BattleBots, and we'll have like experienced members helping them out. And then all the plastic ants will fight against each other, and they'll be able to quickly learn what goes into making a bot. So I think that's something that helps out our team a lot, especially in the early days when a lot of people were inexperienced. And then later on, we started just upping the weight classes. So it only started with 3 pounds, with maybe Jack Sapotnik's goodie bag. Um, that actually went to the NHRL at the old location. That's how long we've been doing this for. So we're still chasing that golden dumpster. But that happened. And then we slowly started upping the weight classes. And again, we did very well in 1 pound, 3 pounds. First 12 set of 12 pounds were Jack's Hooligan, which is still around, and Doppelgator. And then John came along with Steggy. So we have a pretty good 12-pound program set up, and Ned's now bringing his. And then just as like the capstone piece, we wanted to build Termigator just to seal it with all the weight classes. And that's kind of where the club is at now. And we've just built a very sustainable team over the years by slowly building.
I mean, I think that that's awesome. I love to see so many college teams, making an effort to do that and to kind of get more people into the sport, especially at the college level. Do you all get involved in the robotic scene just in Florida as a whole down there? Because obviously you come up to NHRL, but I know that Florida has a pretty healthy combat robotics scene as well.
So we'll have for most events, we'll like pretty much swarm the registry. So we'll have a lot of our new members, they'll have their plastic ants, but then after they do their plastic ants, we move them up to full combat ants. So those two weight classes we try to have probably between like 5+ students per Florida event, just in general. And then for a while, we were pretty dominant on the beetle scene. Like we had a temporal tear and zippy and mechanical advantage. And like if you went to a Florida event and they were signed up, like you knew, like, good luck. So, but I know like me and Brooks haven't competed in beetles in probably a little while now, but they're still a lot of their members still like just go to all kinds of events. And a lot of us, I think all of us are still going to Robot Ruckus, which is the week after this NHRL.
Gotta love those back-to-back weekends for events. I guess it keeps you on your toes, and make sure that you're doing all the right things with the robots. What do you envision for like the future of the combat robotics at the school, and just like in general at this point? Because I think that anyone that I've talked to, like at any level, the sport has grown exponentially in a very short period of time. There's more and more people that may have some, like experience working with robots, whether it be in first, or some people that have zero experience doing that and just decided that this is something that they want to do. What do you see as students who have, kind of grown up in this? What do you see that looking like moving forward?
Oh, yeah, so just the general robot scene as the whole. Um, like you said, other robotics programs are going as well, like First or Vex, and we do get a lot of people coming into our program that go through those, and typically they will be pretty experienced, but BattleBots is just a whole different thing. Like someone who did really well in First or Vex might have to completely change their thought process for BattleBots. And so those are going as well, and we're getting people there. And like you said, the BattleBots community is growing as well. Like NHRL is basically always starting to fill up. Even 12 pounds started to fill up. There's even one event where 30 pounds filled up, which is pretty crazy. So like you said, it's definitely growing there. I would like to see NHL try again with like their remote events, because like I know for us in Florida, it is pretty hard going out that far. I know why it kind of has to be at the same location, and they are a business. I think it would be cool to see them branch out. I would like to see that in the future, and I think just in general though, like if there are local events staying alive, then there will be opportunities for students to just compete everywhere and do really cool stuff. And there are a lot of unique events popping up elsewhere. I know NHRL did open sauce. I know there was some talk of like BattleBots in Vegas doing like their own 12-pound and 30-pound event. Um, so that just keeps me excited about the sport and how like they're keep on being new opportunities. Um, I think that's why I think about the future. Just like if just keep having cool events pop up, and that just makes us pretty happy.
Yeah, accessibility is really important. Accessibility and just visibility of getting people interested in like seeing it, I think is great. And like you mentioned with NHRL, like they've done a really great job with the visibility end of that, of making sure that this is something that people can see, and there's like the level of production value that they have, so that people are engaged and interested in what's going on. Well, I mean, I'm really excited to see what y'all do at the November event. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I guess my last question would be, looking into, because we're almost at the end of 2025, headed into 2026. What does that look like for you all? I know a lot of the college teams seem to try and run a lot of the same robots, but then like you also are bringing new ones to this event. Are you going to like, are there certain robots that you plan to continue to stick with, or is this something that you may decide to change it up and come up with something else for next year?
So I guess like for us at least, like each member like owns the robot that they make. So per se, like when Brooks are at graduate, like we take Doppelgator and Steggy with us, and we can still compete with them on our own. The only robot that like is UF property is Termigator, and for now, like until that $2,000 drum breaks, like we're gonna send it.
It's what I like to hear.
We'll buy new drums. Don't worry.
Well, exciting stuff. I certainly look forward to seeing your robots at this upcoming event, and into the future as well. It looks really bright for combat robotics. So thank you both for joining me. If for those that are watching, if you haven't, follow what Gator Robotics is doing, follow what the team's doing. I think their robots are awesome. Please make sure that you like, follow, subscribe to this channel. Keep supporting combat robotics, and we'll see everybody next time on the show.